field where the creek turns back by the old stump road. I'm gonna take you to a special place that nobody knows. Baby, get ready. Ooh, you and me go fishing in the dark, lying on our backs and counting the stars where the bluegrass grows. Down by the river in the full moonlight, we'll be falling in love in the middle of the night, just moving slow. Stay the whole night through. Feels so good to be with you.
All right, good morning. Happy Thursday. Dana, I'm going to try not to you as much today. I've been working on it really. So I was playing a little fishing song this morning. You get to know a little bit about me through my music, and going to give a shout out to my sweet husband as our anniversary was just the other day, and we are going on a fishing kayak trip. We like to kayak fish, and so figured I would bring that in. So today we're going to talk about 4 things that all buyers should avoid doing before they purchase a home. Now, a lot of people, thank you, Dana. I appreciate your encouragement. So a lot of people get into a contract and they get excited about buying a house, and then they want to furnish it. They want to do stuff. They're looking at the future, but they can make some critical mistakes if they're not careful. So I just want to talk about those 4 things that all buyers should avoid doing before they purchase. So Anthony, Eric, Macy, hello. Thank you guys for looking and watching. Okay, number 1. Don't pay off bills. I know that sounds weird, but here's what can happen. If a borrower starts to pay down debt, they think they're being responsible because they're about to buy a house and they're going to have a larger payment. What'll happen is it can actually bring your credit score down. Sometimes when the credit agencies look at usage of credit and the way it's paid off, sometimes that can actually hurt your credit. So some people say, well, I have great credit scores. Yes, you may have great credit and you want to pay it down, but your rate is based upon your credit score. So you could pay something off and you could go from a 720 to a 700, and that would change your interest rate. So you just want to talk to your loan officer about that before you do it, and only make those pay downs if it's necessary. Now, sometimes you may be at a 680, and if you pay down a credit card, it may take you to a 700, but let them advise you of that before you do that. So that's 1. Don't pay off your debts unless you've talked to a educated loan officer that knows how to make sure that you're doing it properly. Okay, number 2, don't change jobs if necessary. Anytime you change jobs, what can happen is you're paid differently, whether that's overtime or bonuses, and then we may have to calculate that income differently to get you qualified. So if you're an agent and you know that you have a borrower that is about to change jobs, definitely have those conversations with your customers. Make sure that they're telling their loan officer. Make sure you're telling your loan officer. Communication is the key, because a lot of times when we know about it, we can either educate you on it or help look at maybe how we're going to have to calculate that income differently. So always try not to change jobs, but if it is necessary, make sure you're communicating that. Okay, number 3. Don't move your money. Okay, so a lot of people, and I'm going to give you an example here. A lot of people have different accounts, or maybe they're getting some money from someone else at different periods of time. Try to leave your money as is until we validated it through bank statements. One of the customers called me the other day and she said, hey, I have $3,000 in my account, but I have an additional $3,000 at home. Well, we needed that full $3,000 at home. And I said, okay, well, why do you have cash on hand? why do you have money at home? She goes, well, when COVID hit, I was really worried. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I pulled $3,000 out of my account. So there's things that we're going to have to do to document that. But best case is leave it alone. You want to be able to see a consistency of assets in those accounts for about 60 days. So again, if there are those types of transactions coming in and out, there's a possibility if we can't document them the correct way per Fannie, Freddie, and FHA, there's sometimes we can't count that money, and you may need that money to qualify. So make sure that you're leaving that money in the account and that we have a good 60-day history on that. Again, it's not always perfect, and we can work through a lot of things. There are people that get gifts as down payment and closing costs, and we have ways to document that. So don't worry about that. We'll work through it, but we need to know about it. And the best case is to try to leave it alone. Okay, number 4, you ready? Number 4 is a big one. Don't make purchases, large purchases. And this is so hard, especially for women, when you get into a contract and you know that's going to be your home and you get so excited and you want to decorate it and you think, oh, we need a new couch and we need a new table and chairs to fit that dining room. Wait until after you have closed, because what will happen is when I go to pull your credit, I pull your credit and there's a credit card that only has $100 on it or $1,000 on it. That's great. But then you go and you put $10,000 in furniture on that credit card. Well, that payment's going to go up. So per Fannie and the regulators, they put what's called an LQI. An LQI is basically a loan quality initiative on loans to make sure that by the time they get to closing, we're actually closing that same loan and it meets all the same standards. Well, what can happen is we can actually pull an updated credit report within a few days of closing. And guess what? If you don't qualify now because your debt has increased, that loan has to go back. And there's a possibility you wouldn't qualify. So you want to make sure any large purchases, furniture, cars, anything like that, you want to hold off until you have physically signed those papers and taken possession, because then you'll make sure that we're closing the same information that we qualified you on at the beginning. So, you know, there's a joke that every agent cringes when they show up to show the house and the borrower's in a new vehicle. So that's always a risk when you're going into buying a home, is to make sure that you're not making those large purchases. So again, 4 top things that all buyers should avoid doing before buying a house. 1, don't pay down bills unless you've talked to your loan officer. 2, don't change your job if you don't have to until after closing. 3, don't move your money around. And 4, don't make large purchases. So those are the 4 things that all buyers should avoid. Also, it applies to refinances too. The refinance, the qualifications are the same way. We still have to qualify you. We still have to look at your income. We still have to look at your liabilities. So even though I said this is for buyers, it's actually for all borrowers that are trying to purchase or refinance. So I just wanted to send that information out to you. So I wanted to remind you that I will post this on my YouTube channel. Please be sure to share this with agents and borrowers that could be possibly wanting to buy a home, and making sure that they're making all the right steps before they do. So I hope you have a great Thursday. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you later.